Channel 2 News begins right now with a severe weather alert.
Hurricane Harvey slams the Texas coastline as it makes landfall. You're looking at Corpus Christi here, ground zero for this Category 4 hurricane. Bands of heavy rain and 130-mile-per-hour winds posing a serious threat to coastal cities.
And breaking tonight, President Trump has accepted Governor Abbott's request for a presidential disaster declaration, paving the way for help and resources from the federal government. All of this as the storm, now moving inland, dumps inches of rain, tornadoes and catastrophic flooding both possible.
We have live team coverage for you from all along the central Texas coastline into the Houston area tonight on this special extended edition of Channel 2 News at 10 o'clock. And we begin here in the Severe Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Frank Billingsley.
And Frank, we have a long, dangerous stretch of days ahead of us.
We do. We've talked about how this is Alicia ramping up quickly, not much time to prepare. And Allison in terms of the rain that's going to dump. And now let's compare it to Carla. This is the strongest storm to hit the Texas coast since Carla in 1961. And Carla hit in the same place. Port Aransas and Rockport, 140-mile-an-hour winds with that, 130-mile-an-hour winds with this one. This is going to be one for the books, no question, and it's just getting started. There's a look as the eye of this storm moves right into the Rockport area. It is going to continue to move into this region as we go right in to track this. Here's a look, and you can see this whole area in the Rockport region, 130-mile-an-hour winds, and we're just getting the 10 o'clock advisory right there. So 160-mile-an-hour wind gust with this system as it moves on through. It is currently moving to the northwest at 7 miles per hour. There's a look. We've got 4, 2, and then 1. And here's what's remarkable. I just want to get out of the way there to show you this, but here's what's remarkable. It's hitting Rockport now. It's going to move off to the north as a Category 2, settle down to a 1, and then look what happens. It comes back in and hits Rockport again as a tropical storm, and then if this loop continues, moves across Galveston Bay or Matagorda Bay toward the Houston area, hitting downtown as we go into Wednesday. Wind gusts right now are up into the 50, 60-mile-an-hour range. These are sustained, but we're not getting them down where the storm is hitting because those wind gauges are gone. In the meantime, we're getting these winds of 48, 54-mile-an-hour winds there. So these feeder bands, which have produced all kinds of tornado warnings, have continued and continue at this hour with tornado warnings that are still in effect here in parts of Brazoria as well as into Fort Bend County. Here's the problem. Exact track radar shows these showers right now, and there's what we have currently. This is what I'm concerned about. This is one of our future casts, and we're going to go over a lot of them coming up. But when I put this in motion, you'll notice these feeder bands go right into the Houston area overnight tonight with heavy rain continuing into tomorrow. And that's just the beginning, because with this system moving so slowly, we could see a 40-inch bullseye around Victoria and easily 15 to 20 inches of rain into the Houston area. More on that straight ahead.
All right, Frank, thank you. Now, as Frank just showed us, the storm made landfall just north of Corpus Christi in the small fishing village of Rockport.
Our reporter Robert Arnold likening these conditions tonight to those seen during Hurricane Katrina. He's joining us live now. Robert?
Yeah, these are about some of the worst conditions I have ever been in during this type of a hurricane here. Look at that wind right there. Not only is the water ponding, the wind is whipping it into a froth. There is no power anywhere in the city of Rockport. We are starting to see trees go down everywhere. We're starting to see a lot of debris. In fact, when we were sitting in our live truck earlier trying to get our story together, at one point we thought the truck was going to tip over, and that's with 2 full-grown men sitting inside. That is how high these winds are in the area, and we're getting a little bit of a buffer because we're on the side of a hotel. This hotel is about the only spot we could find where we could get some kind of a respite from the wind. And in fact, a lot of people who did not evacuate this area have come to this hotel to try and get to some type of safety. For several hours, the winds and rains have been blinding. As Harvey clawed his way across Rockport, signs came down at convenience stores and along the road. Tin roofs began to peel away. Concrete walls fell and utility poles were snapping. Driving became impossible. The winds were even strong enough to wrench this anchored sailboat across the bay and send it crashing through this pier. As night closed in, the only refuge was this hotel.
Safest place that we feel.
A safe place from Harvey's fury, but for many, the worry is far from over.
We didn't board it up, but You know, we're kind of just hoping. We didn't think it would actually end up of Category 4.
And Mary Lee is not alone in being forced to endure hours of a storm while wondering if she'll have a home to return to.
So who knows, you know. Good Lord to take care of me. He always has.
And it's a good thing those people did make it to this hotel, because several hours ago when I spoke to the police department, they said they hadn't gotten any calls for help, but they said it didn't matter. If they got a call for help, there is no way their officers can be out in the middle of this. So if anybody is in their home and they need help, they're going to have to wait until this storm passes. Matter of fact, we have been praying for quite a while now for the eye to pass over so we can get some kind of a break through here with these absolutely unrelenting winds. We're going to stay here throughout the night, and we will keep updating you on the conditions in Rockport. For now, reporting live from Rockport, Robert Arnold, Kprc Channel 2 News.
Unbelievable, Robert. Please be safe.
Possible tornado damage in the Barker Cypress area. It's because of what we had here. This has had a tornado warning on it that expired at 4:15, literally seconds ago. We may see another one go on this, but this is an area of strong thunderstorms regardless. It may not be tornadoes, but it could certainly be strong downburst winds coming right along 290 off Jersey Village, racing. In fact, I want to go a little closer, racing toward Navasota and Todd here as this moves right along into northern Waller County. So just want to update people that there's the potential here of tornadoes with this whole clump of showers and thunderstorms that is moving across you right now.
Describe what you saw and what you were going through when you saw what we believe might be a tornado.
Right, yeah. Initially we heard a sound, pretty loud sound, and the typical freight train sound. And so we went outside and we saw the cloud actually develop into this multi-cone tornado. And it just sort of blowed across from the very center area into an open field, so we were able to catch that on film.
And this tornado warning continues until 5 o'clock. This is exactly what we've been talking about the last 30 minutes. It's this complex. And, you know, when you get these different winds coming in with a system like this, they're going to come in from the west, they're going to come in from the east, and you're going to get 2 different wind flows, if not more, and they're going to start to spin. And that's where we get all of this tropical activity and these funnel clouds as well as these tornadoes.
Yeah, guys, you say possible tornadoes. I've got someone that says definitely a tornado. Marilyn, you're in your home, and just tell everyone what you just told me.
Okay, my daughter ran in and said, Mom, there's a tornado in the Berry Center. So I run upstairs to look out to see it, and it was coming right at our house. I screamed, let's go. And we ran into the laundry room. The whole house was shaking. I mean, it literally felt like the house was turning into like Wizard of Oz. I mean, it was so scary. And my son said, Mom, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And it only lasted not even 3 minutes. And then the next thing, it started getting light outside, and I opened up the front door. My American flag was out in the middle of the cul-de-sac. I mean, there was just debris everywhere.
Yeah, and you take a look around, you take a look at your neighbor's house, you see roof damage, you see fences down, you see trees down as you look into the intersection.
Here is video again from that same area that we got from Ray Ramirez. We spoke to Mr. Ramirez about 10 or 15 minutes ago here live on air. And the video here that he shot from his home, as you can see, as he described, a couple of funnels came down. He said they would drop out of the sky. One would go up and another one shortly after would come back down.
Yeah, and he said the thing that told him there was a tornado out there was the sound. He heard the sound from inside his home, went outside. His wife and kids went and took cover inside to the interior of the home. He went outside to look around and take this video, and that's when, sure enough, he saw this out towards his backyard.
Futurecast for the American has not changed. We still have this bullseye from Victoria to Columbus to Belleville, 25 to 35 inches in Houston, a foot of rain, but we're already seeing close to that today. The European, I think the bottom line is now that this is onshore, we get a really good idea of what its capability is, and it's capable of producing tornadoes and very heavy torrential rains where we see those feeder bands.
We're in Sienna Plantation. We're right along a street called View Pass. You can see the destruction from a confirmed tornado that came through here at about 1 a.m. this morning, causing roof damage. Home after home had roof damage, about 50 homes damaged in all.
I have a lot to show you, so let's get started. First of all, I want to point out this tornado threat is very real, as we're going to continue to talk about. I've talked about getting click-to pins on your phone. This is why. This from Cypress, I've got a number of these. Another one, look at that wedge. I know we're calling it an apparent tornado. tornado, but I can promise you the National Weather Service is going to find a tornado out of this one. There's just no question. That at Barker Cypress and 290. This is actually some video looking out the window of my daughter's bedroom. Could see a tornado. Immediately told my family to get downstairs into the bathroom. Good advice. A closet, a bathroom away from windows.
What did you see?
We were cooking, and all of a sudden we just started feeling a lot of pressure. And when we started hearing the swirling, it's kind of like howling. And so we ran to the living room, and we just see both of our doors like concaving in, trying to like blow into the house. And that's when we knew all our blinds are open. So.
Let's go and show me what you're looking at. And be careful, because I see a lot of boards and I see a lot of nails here. So please watch your step. Now, this actually hit the back of your home here and the back of your fence. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So all these are open, so we have a clear view of our backyard. And when we looked outside, we saw all our picket fences just swirling about, and that's when we knew that we had to, just run for protection. We ran into our bathroom.
Several other gauges all across this band that's moving on through, and I'll turn that on here so that you can see that, have been dropping about 1 inch every 15 minutes. So we're talking about an enormous amount of rain.
That's 4 inches of rain per hour.
That's 4 inches of rain per hour, and that's enough that it is going to overdo some of the bayous that have been filling up. Now, granted, we've gotten a bit of a break, but we're starting to see, and this is what we're afraid of, Frank, is we're already starting to see this little training effect, and that's not good. That's not what we need at this point.
There's a closer look at exact track radar, and you can see that tornado warning in effect. And as Justin was pointed out, that green right across Highway 6 now is moving almost straight north.
Yeah, I'm going to actually put a track on this here, Frank, so we can get an
that would be
idea
great.
Of where we're going. So let's go about the next 30 minutes. And let me move this out of the way. So, that's what we're looking at. That'll put it right on top of us here in about 20 minutes.
Missouri City, here are our studios, uptown, Spring Valley Village. And, of course, you folks over there in Meyerland and Bel Air, this is going to get you, too, especially the heavy rain.
We're getting 4 to 5 inches per hour at the Beltway in 59, is that right?
Yep, Southwest 79.
Okay, so 4 to 5 inches per hour at the Beltway in 59. So, this may be part of our flood concern we were talking about here. We thought we had dodged sort of a major bullet, but it could just take this one feeder band here, Frank, and I mean, this is still a fairly healthy band set up.
Well, I mean, that's what happened just a few weeks ago. Basically, it was just a training effect that brought 6 to 9 inches of rain from Katy to Bear Creek, producing flooding there. So you get this kind of a band right over you, and you already had some rain, and then you drop this kind of rain on the order of 3-4 inches per hour, then you're in it, and that's when you have a catastrophic flood situation. This is not moving, and this is where the center of the storm is, right here off of Yoakum, and you see there in the last hour, it's just sitting there. So as long as that is sitting there, then that is sitting there, and that is sitting there. It may move a little bit, but it's not going to move a lot. And it's going to continue to bring in this heavy rain, 1 to 3, 4 inches of rain in some spots per hour. That's why we have these flood advisories. And now the one basically from downtown or close to it all the way down to 8 until 11:15 tonight, and it's 8:45.
Yeah, Frank, to put some perspective on that, I've got the Harris County flood warning map pulled up over here, I should say. 15-minute rainfalls as we go across Brays Bayou near Bell Park Drive, which is right off the West Park, 1.28 inches per 15 minutes. So that's
so the math on that is 5 inches an hour.
5 inches per hour. A couple of quick updates from Jeff Linder over at Harris County Flood Control. Keegan's Bayou is over the banks. Minor flooding around 8 and 59, which we would expect since we saw you saw the pictures a second ago, the video. And then also Little Cypress Creek at Becker is about 1.5 feet over its bank. And then also we're getting 3 and about 1/3 inches in 1 hour over West Harris County over towards the villages. He said deep street flooding likely in progress there. This is over towards Briar Crest.
Video of the intense rain in the flooded streets, approximately 6 inches of water covering the road.
Wow.
So we got a lot, yeah, and so we're getting more of these coming in as well.
There's a look at Sam Houston Beltway at West Airport. That's some water on the roads. Look at that. I doubt anybody's even going to try to get through that. As I say,
there's a car right there.
There's a car right there.
Yeah,
making a liar out of me. I swear, I don't know why people do it. You know, we say turn around, don't drown, and we don't say it because it rhymes. We say it because it is a serious, serious problem, especially
save your
in
life.
this town.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I came in this afternoon at 1:30, and we, came through a pretty good swath of rain, and me and all the other drivers had to turn our flashers on. And so now that the sun's gone down, it's just going to make it that much tougher to see with all this rain.
Well,
obviously.
You're looking at Storm Tracker Live. We've got that on the road, 290 inbound near Beltway, near the Beltway. So
blinding rain at that point.
That's been coming in. Look at that. I mean, even the windshield wipers don't do much. I'm sure if you're actually doing the driving, it's a little easier maybe, but just from my perspective, that's a scary drive down.
I just got a update here from National Weather Service on the chat that they say they are planning to issue a flash flood emergency for parts of southern and southwest Houston and Harris County and parts of eastern Fort Bend County. They said that's coming out shortly. Also, Jeff Linder from Harris County Flood Control just said Braze rising very rapidly. So we're starting to see things fall apart at this point. In addition, I believe we've got a tower cam. This is a tower cam here at Channel 2 looking back over across the, let's see if we've got it there. It looks like we've got a car stalled out. That's right over towards the Westbury area. In the last 30 minutes, they've picked up about 2 1/3 inches of rain. So that's looking back over across towards Meyerland. And in fact, if you want to cycle back to the Click 2 pins as well, Frank, Scott Ost just sent in a street flooding pin that he said is in his neighborhood, and that's in Meyerland there as well. Also want to give everybody a quick update. This from the city of Houston. American Red Cross has opened the shelters in Houston. Chief Art Acevedo of the police department had said Metro Houston has buses staged in case of evacuation. So this kind of falls along with what we were saying with the flash flood emergency at this point, that there may be some real trouble. So Frank, this one that you've got right over here, that is from Westbury as well. So that was right at that camera area that we were watching. That one's underwater. In addition, if you guys want to take Frank's camera over there. So that's the first one. And then this one here is Cook and Derry Ashford. That's what that looks like at this point. So we're seeing some, areas that are really starting to pick up an enormous amount of water. And in fact, let me jump over real fast. As this gets closer to much of the downtown area, I think that's where we're going to really run into some trouble here as well. Frank, let me give you a quick idea. Stella Link Road, last 30 minutes has picked up about 1 1/3 inches.
Okay. Well, we want to send it back to Keith and Lauren. I think you've got somebody on the phone?
Yeah,
we do.
We actually have Phil Archer. We're getting reports of a possible tornado in Missouri City, and that's where Phil Archer is right now.
All right, let's go to him live and see what he has to show us. Phil?
Yeah, well, we're being told that this is a confirmed tornado. We're in the 2200 block of Texas Parkway in Missouri City, and the tornado that touched down here came down and hit 3 businesses, Pizza Hut, Wingstop, and a Kentucky Fried Chicken. These buildings, these businesses, were filled with people when that happened, employees and customers, about 25 people. One of the employees who was here, could you guys step over?
Do you see what I'm talking? Oh, wow.
That's the West Loop in
West Park.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in West Park, yeah.
Oh, that's exactly how I get home.
Yeah, and you can see that gauge there on the right-hand side, just below 7 feet of water.
But let me tell you, the constables have been watching that since yesterday, since last night, because on my way home last night, I saw them watching that, because that is where we've had people drown going into that water at the West Park Loop there. So,
well, you can see their flashing lights on the other side
thank
there.
goodness. I mean, Mayor Turner has really been on this from the beginning, making sure that everyone is well protected from going into some of these crazy underpasses that we have.
Take a look. There's a vehicle trying to drive through. This is
that has water.
Yeah, West Loop and Bel Air.
We have Jeff Linder on the phone. Hi, Jeff. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thanks for calling us. What's going on?
Well, as y'all been showing, we have this intense feeder band moving through the central and now the south and southeastern part of the county. Flash flood emergency for that south and southwest side of the county. The locations I'm watching very closely right now are unfortunately Braze Bayou and the Meyerland area. We only have about 3.5 feet at Gessner. That's the upstream gauge of Meyerland before the bayou goes out of its banks, and it is rising very rapidly in the Meyerland area. We only have about 3.8 feet at Rice, which is in the Meyerland area. Willow Waterhole in Westbury has gone out of its banks, so we know we have flooding there. We also have flooding on Keegan's Bayou at Rourke, and Briar Branch at Campbell, that's north of I-10 in the Spring Branch area. We are seeing that channel go out of its banks also.
Right now, we are joined on the phone by Harris County Judge Ed Emmett. Judge, thanks so much for joining us. Our first question to you is, what are some of the areas that right now concern you the most?
Well, of course, first, the band of rain that's gone across our area recently is exactly what all the meteorologists have been predicting for tonight. And wherever it falls, the ground is already saturated and those watersheds are close to full. Brays Bayou is at its limit, and if any more rain falls there, then water will be going into Meyerland. The Willow Water Hole has gone out of its banks, and there are homes in Westbury that are taking on water. And then we have the areas up around the reservoirs that right now are okay. But again, if more rain falls on those areas, then those homes, too, could be taking on water.
Our Lee Ferlisi, who is in the Westbury area right now. Lee, tell us what you're seeing.
Well, take a look over here. We're at the corner of Ludington and Chimney Rock. The water is knee-deep if you're walking in it in the street. It's up to car bumpers. You can see that cars are stalled out along here. In fact, for us, we had to park almost a block away and walk in so that we could park on higher ground. And I want to show you over here, the homes in this section are beginning to flood. We have John O'Hagan over here. He's the homeowner of this home across the street from us. John, what happened for you tonight?
Well, just was watching TV for a little while, then came out to check and walk into the garage, and there's about 7 inches of water in the garage. Came and then also go into the kitchen. It's coming through the kitchen doors and the dining room doors, so it's got about 2 or 3 inches in the kitchen and the dining room, but the garage is about a lot higher in the garage.
Now, I want to go immediately to Justin because we've had just another tornado warning that has just been issued near Hobby Airport. It's right there with that feeder band that we've been watching, and we've already had tornado issues, and we're going to continue to see them. Justin, what do you got?
All right, Frank, I got it right here. So there's Hobby Airport. It's just to the south and east of there. That's where the tornado warning starts, and you can see at the very end of the loop. And that's what we've been talking about with these tornado warnings. It's this crisscrossing of the winds. So whenever we're getting some of the inbound winds and the outbound winds that are all kind of smooshing around each other, that's where we're getting the rotation. So I'm going to put a stop on this.
That's a heck of a rotation.
That's a heck of a rotation. It's moving at about 15 miles an hour to the north. So before, the other ones were moving anywhere from around 30 to 40 miles an hour. This one is crawling in comparison. So there it is. Let me put the marker on this here.
That's almost got a hook to it.
It does look like it almost has a bit of a hook to it, and I'll run the loop on that, and then you can see over the last hour as it continues to move through. So let's jump in a little.
Hook.
Yeah, let me jump in tight on that too, and we'll start. So that's just north of Ellington Field. Right now looks like it's headed in the direction of Pasadena. So if you are watching us right around the Pasadena area or anywhere along Highway 3 there, you need to take shelter now.
We talked about closures on I-10 at McCarty. Yeah, yeah, right there. Exactly.
That's the closure.
Yeah.
It's I-10 east of McCarty. And that's exactly what Justin was talking about. There you have I-10 east of McCarty and a tornado warning coming at you.
Yeah. Yeah, and the road was shut down because of flooding, but then we looked on the map, and you could see that it was shut down because of accidents because of the flooding. And so, yeah, I mean, it's starting to look like a parking lot in that particular area right there.
And then you're going to run out of gas.
That's a dangerous situation.
Just saw on Twitter here, Friendswood has opened shelter at the city's activity building as a lot of the homes are starting to flood and drivers are stranded there as well. So if you're in and around the Friendswood area, if you know someone that's there and you've been texting with them and they need to get out, let them know the city's activity building has been opened as a shelter. Now, clearly, you got to be able to get there safely, but at least there is a place to go if folks are starting to take on water.
I want to go now out to Bill Spencer, who's now moved to Friendswood. And Bill, I know you spent most of the day in Galveston. Now you're out there in Friendswood, and boy, lots of rain bands moving through.
We are getting pounded by rain right now in Friendswood. We are right on the I-45 feeder road at the Friendswood exit, and this whole thing is completely shut down. It is getting worse by the minute. It is unbelievable how fast the water is accumulating. We have a pickup truck down there. That guy is stuck. He's not going anywhere. I don't know what he's going to do. He may wind up being the object of a rescue in the next few minutes or so. We were down there about 200 yards farther down this road, had to turn and come back this way because our truck was about to be floated out of the area. We were in real danger. Take a look at those barrels out there. When we got here, that's how fast the rain is falling. That barrel was fully visible. Now you can see the closest barrel to me is 3/4 underwater.
I want to take a look now at TransStar camera that we have for you at I-10 at Houston Avenue, and lots of water there. There you see it.
Wow.
Is that we've the bayous?
Yeah, we've taken this shot a couple of times this evening, and my goodness,
White Oak Bayou, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's White Oak Bayou.
That's White Oak Bayou, and is that one of the ones that's spilling over right now? I believe it is.
Yeah,
it's out
that's
of its
one of the
bank.
ones that's spilling over at this point. There we go. That's a better shot of it when we get across the highway.
Yeah. We've looked at this again several times throughout the day, and wow, it has gotten tremendously worse. And even the last time we looked at it was maybe 45 minutes or an hour ago. Right now, we want to give you a look at some of our TransStar cameras. Right now, this is Highway 288 at McGregor, and you can see a steady flow of water on both sides of that highway there. Very, very full with water. And yeah, the water's on the highway and flowing across and down at a very high rate right there.
And 288 has trouble spots really all up and down it. That's 288 at Holcomb right now. We're seeing some water there as well. And we were looking at 288 in Holly Hall a little bit earlier, and there was plenty of water there. In fact, that was the area really there we're seeing Holly Hall right there. That's the area that 288 started taking water on at earlier in the evening. So 288 really starts having problems early. And Frank was saying that during Allison, that's where they saw the water.
That's where I first saw it. I mean, we didn't have nearly as many cameras back in 2001 as we have now, but we had that one, and that was where we were seeing that happen already.
Yeah, there's 288 in Orem, and now 288 at Reed. See some, at least one vehicle there, and there's a
like
law enforcement.
Yeah, have that blocked off.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt here. This just dropped in from Jeff Linder at Flood Control. Flood Control getting calls of people climbing into their attics on either side of I-45 from South Houston to Clear Creek at this point.
That's how high the water levels have gotten. People in their attics.
Yeah.
Okay, say that again.
So people on either side of I-45 near South Houston, Clear Creek. Now remember, this is where we've seen upwards of 13 inches of rain already. We're getting reports that folks are calling flood control, crawling into their attics to get away from the rising flood water at this point. I mean, we just can't
when Katrina hit New Orleans.
Right.
That's exactly what I was just thinking,
That's
Frank.
exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the advice was take an axe with you.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
that water keeps coming. You need to axe your way out of that roof and get on top of it.
It's extremely dangerous.
People did.
Good. Yeah, I mean,
Sure did.
Obviously, an extremely dangerous situation. You get in your attic, and if you can't get out, you know, you're in trouble.
I want to point out this tornado warning, by the way. This just came down. It's until 1:30 down there because of this feeder band that wasn't the worst, but it's there. And this is how this may end up in the Houston area before it's all said and done tonight. That's part of the problem.
Phil, you've moved to Sugar Land since we last saw you. What are you seeing where you are right now?
We've actually moved since then. We're a little closer to town now. This is Highway 90. We're just down from where 90 crosses 59. You can see it's the Kirkwood Road exit. And, you know, for the last 12 hours, we've been watching the water level slowly come up. And lots of roadways are just like this now, covered with water. These folks, we've been watching folks in the short time we've been here come flying up like it's just another Saturday night, and then suddenly they hit this. Those folks saw it in time. This guy over here didn't, and this may be the most dangerous aspect right now of what's going on with this weather event.
That's a strong line of storms pushing right through there. And now, well, there you go. This just came up. Look at that. Okay. Until 2 a.m. You want to get over there, and we'll take a look at the couplet on that. But that's the same problem that came through. Let's go back to Justin on this one.
All right, so this one here looks, okay, there it is, right there at the very end. You can see it just to the south of, southwest of Needville. That's where we're seeing some of the stronger. You can see the, right there. You get some of those real brighter green colors, and that's where we're seeing some strong winds moving in with that as well, probably mixing in with a few more.
Over 60 stalled vehicles are on parts of the Gulf Freeway right now. Over 60. So we're talking about our law enforcement and our rescue folks having to get out there and take care of people. And this is one of the things that they're having to deal with. Over 60 stalled vehicles in different parts of the Gulf Freeway Gulf Freeway right now. So.
And that's just the Gulf Freeway.
Exactly.
There are cars stalled out all over the area right now, and there we have a picture right there of it. One of our TransStar cameras showing it, and we know that that's happening all over the place. We know that the sheriff tweeted out a little bit earlier in the evening, actually it's been several hours ago now, saying that they were to hold on. If you needed to be rescued, hold on. They're trying to get to everyone, and that was hours ago, and so we know that there are even more people who need to be rescued at this point. So you're just going to be very patient if you're out there and need to be rescued, because just as Cambrell said, resources right now overwhelmed. There's just so much going on.
Okay, we have Lee for Lacey. Lee, tell us where you are right now. We want to go to you live, and what's your location?
Yes, we're still in Westbury. We're near our live truck. We're at the corner of Chimney Rock and Gasmar, I believe the street is over here. And you could see the, I believe it's the Willow Creek Bayou over here. You guys were talking about street flooding, the dangers of street flooding. I got to tell you, we thought we could cross the street. We can see the bottom. You know, it doesn't seem that deep. But the minute we took one step out, really into the flow of this water, there is such a pull. It may be surprising to people, but it is serious. It is not something you want to go walking in. We immediately stepped right out of it.
4 tornado warnings going on here. One of them, the only one I've got is this one out toward Mont Bellevue. Yeah. And we're going to get to the rest of them. Here's what I want to say. The National Weather Service has just talked about the fact that we're getting a little bit of the heavier rain here moving east out of Harris County. Not so for Galveston County and Santa Fe, but East Harris County. But this line that's from Sealy to Matagorda, they are very concerned about, because these same areas that have been hit, by 4:30 in the morning, they expect that line to be over Houston, bringing 4 to 6 inches more rain. So hopefully we'll get a break and have some draining, but there's this line is expected to edge this way. So they have put out that advisory between now and 4:30 in the morning. So not
this morning.
Buffalo Bayou is so high, it's well over its banks. The park, Buffalo Bayou Park, is gone. I can't see it at all. And the flood waters from the sewer system are gushing up out of the ground and draining into the bayou. So obviously, this is only adding insult to injury. So we have rushing water coming from the street into the bayou. The bayou is coming up. You'd have to check the flood control district for height on it, but I mean, you don't need to know numbers to just look at it, see that it's well out of its banks, and it's flooding. It's almost at street level on Allen Parkway, guys.
This is an unprecedented situation, and you have to go into nowcast mode. That's when you're forecasting for what you're seeing right in front of you. It's very hard to tell you how long of a break you are going to get and when you are actually going to get it. So we have to take advantage of the small breaks that we have. Right now, the breaks that we have are in south portions of Harris County, from downtown extending along 288 into, close to the Pearland area. I know Pearland, it's still raining really, really hard, but if you live closer to 288 and some of those communities closer to Savannah Lakes, it is a nice little break that you're having, and that extends all the way into Lake Jackson. These breaks are not going to last for long, folks, because the center of low pressure, which is Harvey, is stalled out. So we're just going to continue to see these waves push in, and hopefully the breaks are enough to get some of the water levels down, but we need to be prepared for that not to be the case. A few things to update you on in terms of our waterways. We have over 20 that are over bank at this point. Braze Bayou is nearing tax day levels. So for the folks that live along Braze, you know what you went through during tax day. You should anticipate an identical repeat of that, because Braze Bayou is nearing that level that it was at during tax day. So we're going to start to see similar conditions happening. Hunting Bayou is 6 feet over bank. That is an amazing amount of water. Major home flooding is occurring right now between the Beltway and the loop along I-10. That is the area that would be impacted by Hunting Bayou. So again, if you live along I-10 on the east side between the Beltway and the loop, Hunting Bayou is 6 feet out of bank. So just, have extreme caution in that area. And then we're watching the fact that Braze Bayou is now approaching that tax day level.
There's a woman in labor on the east side and needed help. Can you tell us more about what was going on there? Exactly. Actually, we've had several similar reports, but this one in particular is in the 7,000 block of San Angelo. It's not too far from downtown Houston, and apparently she's going into labor. We're trying to get additional information and trying to see if some of our local public safety partners can get there a little bit quicker. Very close to there as well, we had reports of some vehicles possibly submerged in water near I-10 near Lathrop and Lockwood. And it was unconfirmed, but one report we had was that there was possibly a woman and child that were deceased in one of the vehicles. So we're just seeing a lot of high volume all throughout the county.
Ryan, can you hear us?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, let me show you what's going on. We're kind of watching traffic. This is the southbound side of 45. Xavier, let's walk over here. Houston police about to launch this boat. We've seen two in the water in just the last little bit. It's hard to see. There's one over to the right. That's from the Houston Fire Department. This is part of the Houston Police dive team. They are launching into this neighborhood. And to give you an idea of where we are, we're just to the east of Hobby Airport. We have heard reports from people calling in of people possibly trapped in attics, at least back in this direction off of Edgebrook. I'm told from Houston firefighters overnight, they say they're having a hard time, just as all of us are, getting around town. So right now, Houston Police, this is the dive team launching this boat to go into this neighborhood just off of Monroe in 45. Beyond this, you can see, wow, a lot of lightning. You can see there are two trailers sitting here. That's because two of the Houston Fire Department boats are already in the water. People are coming out, even with dogs. Some have life jackets on, whatever they can. Children, carrying them to safety, getting them in the bus, and hopefully to safety. Long night for these folks.
So, Ryan, yesterday we saw these Metro buses. A lot of them were staged over the West Park Tollway. They were parked there, different parts of the city. Now these buses are being loaded up, put to use. Thankfully, we have access to these. Where are these folks headed to now? The shelters?
I have not heard. I need to check back with the fire department source. He just, the last I heard was that they were being simply carried to safety, is how it was put. And you can see a lot of people. Thank goodness for the plan. A lot of people were breathing a sigh of relief yesterday. The city and county did not put down their guard. They kept these vehicles, these Metro buses, and the high water rescue folks from the Houston Fire in place.
Just heartbreaking when you see kids, young babies, mothers being taken out of here with just the clothes on their backs and whatever they can grab for their families.
Yeah, what originally brought us down here, Rachel, is a phone call to our assignments desk at Channel 2, and the call was that the rising water meant people, Xavier, even more people being brought off now. And the call was that people had climbed into the attic to safety. That's what brought us here. We can't make it into the neighborhood, as you can imagine. And these folks are being brought in. We're trying not to bother them because we're trying to get them to safety and out of the rain as quickly as possible. But you can see a child being carried in mom's arms to safety to get out of here and hopefully a safer place than where they came from, that's for sure.
This is widespread, folks. We have over 22 waterways that are outside of their banks, over 130 high water spots, Owen. At this point, I think it was even larger than that on the last check. 154. So, I mean, this is very widespread, but the most dire situation is in southeast Harris County, stretching into Galveston County. The fact that we do have a tornado watch box out, if we get tornado warnings in areas where folks are stranded in their vehicles and also not able to get to the lower level of their house because it's flooded, that's a very dire situation. So what we can suggest to you is to get to the safest location that you can. If you are stranded in your vehicle and you're watching us on your mobile device on the Kprc2 app, you just have to stay in your car. It really would be the worst case scenario, but thankfully we do not have any active tornado warnings, but I'd rather have the conversation before we get ourselves in that situation. So again, if you're inside a vehicle and you're watching us on our app on your phone and you hear a tornado warning go off, stay inside your vehicle. It's not the situation that you want to be caught in. Hopefully we don't get there, but I'd rather have the conversation now before we get there. If you're in a home that has flooding within the first level of your home and you're hanging out in the second level and you have a tornado warning pop, again, that's not happening right now, but if it does happen, you need to stay at the second level of your home, the lowest level that's not flooded, and get into the interior of your room, preferably an interior bathroom or closet. That's exactly where you would want to go.
U of H downtown, rushing waters on the road.
That's Buffalo Bayou right there, which, as we know, is above its banks near downtown. Well, I mean, obviously it is because of what's happening in that shot. Maybe the specific numbers don't even really matter at this point. You will find that bayous in different locations. White Oak is another one. So this is, I'm looking at the graphic, Houston Avenue. White Oak in the Heights. So that's White Oak over 45 Houston Avenue that crosses over. A lot of times we've seen
that's one of those
near
spots.
Main Street, like right there. So that is 45. That's the on-ramp going toward downtown, or it might be the on-ramp going northbound, but either way the entire freeway is totally flooded. White Oak over its banks down there, Buffalo Bayou over its banks downtown. Man.
We're going to send it back over to Britta and Cambrell because they have some updates for us.
Yes, so Cambrell and I were warning you that we are expecting that tornado warning that was in Brazoria County to hold together and really pass into Fort Bend County, and that's exactly what's happened. So this is a new warning until 5:15 in the morning. We need a break in between these bands, but it is possible that it will just fill in, because take a look at this as we zoom out. It is tremendous how far the feeder bands extend. It's past Brownsville, folks. It goes into northern portions of Mexico, offshore into the Gulf of Mexico. It is tapping into so much moisture. What we really need is for Harvey to move east. But we're not expecting substantial movement with that area of low pressure throughout this morning. So we need to be prepared to have the flooding situation last at least for the next 6 hours.
Rooftop flooding is likely there right now.
So that adds in a second location then. So the first location we have folks that are actually escaping to their attics is along the Gulf Freeway in Galveston County. Now we have a second location east side of town, between the Beltway and the Loop on I-10.
The TransStar is just reporting here that they've closed I-10 at Jensen now in all the main lanes in both directions. So before it was at Lockwood, that's where you had the high water rescue going on at Lathrop down the block, and now it's at Jensen too. So that water level, Hunting Bayou, Cambrell, that you were talking about.
Well, the last update that we got from Harris County Flood Control had Hunting Bayou 6 feet over bank, which was a historic level. Now we're 10 feet over bank.
We're going to switch quickly over to our Sophia Ojeda because she is at Gulf Freeway in Astoria, where there is a rescue going on right now.
So yeah, there have been several rescues going on right now. There are several vehicles all underwater here. This is at Astoria. This is along the Gulf Freeway. But I want you to focus on this group of people. We were jumping out of the live truck here, and we heard people yelling and screaming. And you can see several people walking up along Astoria here. I guess they're trying to get up to the Gulf Freeway. They know that there's been several water rescues here. We've been trying to tell them just to be careful. I think there's a small child on top of that one gentleman there. The water is waist high at this point. We've seen one gentleman. He was walking through earlier. The water is really high.
Everywhere where you see a red dot is a channel that is out of bank. And that really puts it in perspective, folks. It is easier to count the green boxes, which means everything's fine, than it is to identify all of the waterways that are out of bank. It is just astounding. There are two places that I need to highlight specifically, and you've heard Rachel and Owen say this too, but it's a life-saving message that we need to get out. Jeff Linder, who's a meteorologist for Harris County Flood Control, asked us to pass along this message. If you live along Hunting Bayou, that is going to be I-10 between the Beltway and the Loop. So right in this location right here. Jensen is actually closed down. I-10 is closed down at Jensen in both directions, and it's because of how much water is out there. And we are expecting flood waters to get into the second levels of home. Some of those homes already have flood water in the second level. We need to urge that you go on top of your roof. And I can't believe that we're having to give that message to folks. It is terrifying, but it's imperative. If you live along I-10 between the Beltway and the Loop, that you get on top of your roof and not inside your attic. They are doing high water rescues, and you're going to have a higher chance of surviving if you get on top of your roof. Please do not get inside your attic.
I had to save a guy's life right here. He was hanging onto a telephone pole, and I got a rope. I heard him. He was out there for about 30 minutes, but I got him, and we're all safe now. So
it's good. How high was the water? Can you describe the water for us? Describe the levels.
It was going pretty fast for a while. It slowed down, but the water started rising. So for the most part, we're all safe, and that's what matters. The kids are safe and everything, and we're just trying to. It was bad. The water's really bad. It's all the way up to here in the house. It's about right to here. So, and we're right by the creek. So.
Did you have to get on top of your roof? They were telling people to get on top.
We didn't get on top of our roofs. But what I did was I put our bed. We put chairs under the bed and raised the bed up. And put all the kids onto it and called for help, and we waited for the help.
How long did it take? Because they were saying they weren't going to be able.
5 hours, 6, 7. We've been up all night.
Just
ever since I started running. But I got to get back to them, okay?
Okay, sir, thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Stay safe, stay safe. He's headed towards Wedgwood Elementary. That is where they're taking a majority of these folks that are being rescued here. This is Friendswood Link Road. We attempted to drive into this. Clearly, we couldn't do it. We had to turn around and park up on Higher Road, but you can see that light down there in the distance. That is a boat. That is one boat going back into this neighborhood, searching for more people.
Sophia, what's going on?
Hey guys, this is Friendswood Link Road. This is another boat full of people that are coming out of this neighborhood here. This is near 528. Friendswood police, Friendswood firefighters, volunteers helping people that are stuck in their homes back there. They're telling us that the water is up to their chest and rising. We were halfway down this street past this boat here, and the water was just up to our knees. We're all the way back now. It's rising so quickly, and they're telling us that there are more people back in that neighborhood.
Clear Creek has risen, in fact, on both sides of where she is. It's 12 feet over by West Bay Area Boulevard, 12 feet over the top of the banks.
All right, look at this. Yeah, this is one of the airboats they were talking about. We've been hearing, they're asking folks, if you have a Josh boat or an airboat like what you're seeing here, they need help. And it sounds like from what Sophia said as well, they're looking for fuel. Because you can imagine these folks have been running back and forth in these boats pretty much nonstop for hours. Hours now today. This is in the Friendswood area, and you can see, I mean, people just grabbing whatever they can hold in 2 hands and on their backs, and that's it, with their children and their animals, trying to get to safety. And this is a big area back there, completely cut off now, except for boat and maybe helicopter if they can get it in. That's about it.
Gil, I'm going to have you turn this camera around. I see another gentleman bringing more gas, more gasoline to help load up these boats and help out these folks who need it the most. Sir, can we talk to you? Hi, Channel 2, we're live.
I just heard on the channel. That's the reason I just brought some gas, because I had some. I said, I don't need, so they need it. I just brought it.
That is amazing.
It's my player, yeah. We need to do it. We are in the community, and we have to do it, and we must do it. All of us should do it.
You live close by now.
Oh yeah, I live here just maybe about 3 minutes.
To see this.
Oh yeah, I saw.
What?
It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. May God help all of us. May God protect all of us. It was so scary, and it was really to contemplate you. I mean, the things that when we have, we need to be thankful to that, and when we need it, we need to give to the people, and we help them people.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for coming out.
And thank you for letting us know, because I didn't know. We saw on the channel. I said I'm gonna go and give them right now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we've got another gentleman here. It's incredible. I mean, I said this maybe a couple minutes ago, and we've already got 4 or 5 gallons of gasoline coming.
You put out the call.
Sir, thank you for bringing this. I personally want to thank you for them. Obviously, they've been here all night. They've been working. What made you want to do this? You're out here. You're barefoot.
Oh, my wife. She just saw y'all on TV and we had extra too. So, oh well, I want to be able to, for them to get in there, you know.
I think everybody just has to band together, and what a heartwarming moment to see Sophia Ojeda.
Oh, wasn't that great?
I mean, that was just amazing to see people that heard her report and literally showed up within a 5-minute window.
Incredible. 2 or 3 individuals. Very cool stuff.
We're seeing just a mass exodus through these flooded streets behind you. This is incredible.
Well, Owen, it's a little hard to hear right now, but this is just a very heartbreaking situation right here. We're in East Houston. This is Fleming Drive near Federal. Federal is just very close to I-10, but you can see that families are coming out of their neighborhood on rafts, on boats. We even saw a jet ski go back there just a few minutes ago, but it's just so devastating to see these families even walking through waist-deep water. You can see even on this raft, there's 2 small children on there, bringing them to safety, and everyone is just showing up, making sure that all the families come out okay. We have seen the Coast Guard helicopter flying around, making rescues in this area. The Coast Guard did confirm they were helping people out of their flooded homes here in this East Houston community. We also want to bring in a gentleman. He has been here. We were here actually when he walked out, right, Junior? You walked out of your apartment?
Yes, I did walk out of my apartment, and it was flooded real bad. I was scared. I'm on a walker. I got back problems. So I was just in the car accident. I got real bad back problems. I had to like help 2 little small kids on a walker. It's just real bad, and I need some help. I really need some help. I done lost everything. Everything, my car, my clothes, TV, furniture, everything. I done lost it. Hope somebody can help me. I just pray.
And we're all praying for you too, Junior.
You see people coming out on air mattresses, all different kinds of boats coming and going, kayaks, rafts. This really is whoever has any sort of flotational device is going in and coming out. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, these are neighbors helping neighbors. No police officers are here. We did see the Coast Guard again, but these are people who are in a dire situation, and neighbors know that, family members know that, so they're going in to save them. But you can still see people are walking out, just carrying some of their belongings in waist-deep water. It's just so tragic to see, especially when we live and we work as reporters, when we live and we work in the city.
Hey, Kathy, where are these folks going when they're getting out of this floodwater? Where are they heading now? So in front of you, basically, if the camera could turn around, where are they all going now? Is there a staging area? Are they going to a store? What are they doing?
Can we turn around and just show some of these people here?
Yeah.
So basically what we're seeing is people are just standing here. I know some family members who are coming to pick up their loved ones, but other people are just standing here. They don't know what to do. They're trying to get some help. They're trying to figure out where to go. I've been telling some people that there is actually a shelter not too far from here. It's at the North Shore High School, and that is just where I'm telling people to go. But how to get there right now for some of them is very difficult because their cars are flooded inside this community.
We've been on standby for Mayor Sylvester Turner, Houston City Mayor Sylvester Turner, to be giving a live news conference here. Let's go ahead and see if we can take it. I think he's getting ready to start.
Again, I don't think I need to tell anyone at this point that this is a very, very serious and unprecedented storm. And this is pretty much like the second day. We anticipate that there will be several other days. There may be a lull for a little bit sometime this morning, early afternoon, but then we're expecting even more rain later on.
We do have a tornado warning that we need to update you on. It's right over downtown. It's in place until 10:30 in the morning for central portions of Harris County. It kicks in between the Beltway and the Loop on the south side and extends right into the heart of downtown. Now, there's no way to tell if there's an actual tornado on the ground, so you need to take it as if there is one on the ground.
We are in the Cy-Fair neighborhood, Enchanted Valley off Telge Road, specifically Honeycomb Lane. We are on Howard Harris's boat. He owns a house that's on the corner here, but he has been in this neighborhood rescuing people literally from their homes that have been flooded. Howard, what have you seen so far today?
I've seen the water come up a lot, and I've seen a lot of people that doesn't want to leave their home, but we managed to get them out and got them a dry area, and they're fine, you know. And I've got about 3 people out of their houses so far. And this house over here, they have 1.5 foot of water in it. And they got out safe and everything, and they're doing well.
This is what Buffalo Bayou looks like right now. It is completely flooded. You see that the bayou is out of its banks. It is now flooded over into the Memorial Drive area and then south there into the Allen Parkway area. I believe is that cross street you see there perpendicular to those. That is underwater as well. And you see it is, you can't even see the roadways down there. You can't even see where the bayou is supposed to be.
Meyerland, you literally have 3 minutes. You need to find a really safe spot. Part of the situation that we're going to get into, especially as we go into the afternoon, is that we're having tornado warnings happen in areas that are flooded. So if you have flood water in the first level of your home and you're hanging out in the second level of your home, you're going to have to make that call on your own of where you want to be. What we can tell you as meteorologists is when we have these tornadoes, usually they're fairly weak, EF0 to EF2, but an EF2 can remove chunks of your roof, and that's what we saw in Sienna Plantation. It wasn't, designated just yet, but that's the kind of damage that we see. So the largest threat to you and your family is debris falling through those holes and hitting you. So when we have these, even if you have to be on the second floor because your first floor is flooded, you're still going to be better off if you go to the center of that second floor into an interior bathroom or closet. Make the space above your head as small as possible, because that will limit what can fall on top of you and cause damage or even, in worst cases, death. And tornadoes are something that you don't want to mess with.
Right here behind us is another boat that just got here. It's getting ready to unload. This was the call earlier this morning when we said we needed boats, we needed fuel, and people responded. They're coming in and out, just back and forth, helping out dozens and dozens of people. A lot of elderly people, too, that couldn't walk, that need to be carried through this water. Another woman telling us that her sons, they've got these kayaks over here, and they're helping people put their stuff in the kayaks. Once they get up here, they're putting their stuff in their kayaks so they don't have to carry it. But I've never seen anything like this. We've been told that the height of this water is 5 times worse than Allison. That is what some of these people here are saying, and the water continues to rise. This morning, officials said hundreds of people needed to be rescued from homes. The rescue is far from over. We are just in the thick of it, and we only have hopefully we can get all of this done before the sun starts to come down and it gets to be even darker. But David, who is helping in the rescue effort, says if you can get down here safely, they're asking for anyone who has access to chainsaws or axes, anything that would bust through a roof to help get some of these people who are stuck in their homes out of their attics during these water rescues. We have some pretty amazing video to bring to you from Harris County East Loop at Market Street, where there's high water there. I mean, just take a look at that and let that sink in. That tells the story of what we're dealing with right now.
Right. So
massive flooding, major issues if you get out on the roadways. Can you get to the roof?
We're going to try to go up the attic staircase and get through the attic and try to get out. I have a dormer window that we're going to have to break.
I'd say, I think,
yeah. But the roof is very slippery and very high. It's very big pitch.
Ma'am, tell me exactly what happened and when the water started rising and who you're with right now.
I'm with my husband, who's 83 years old and has a hip problem. I have my granddaughter, who's 13. I have this Chihuahua and a cat. So we're all, the water's rising really fast here.
How high is the water right now?
The water's halfway up the wall in the house. That might be the rescue. Just a second.
We certainly hope that it is.
Never mind. It's somebody checking in.
Listen, Sandy, please give me at least...
We're waiting for this high water rescue. The constable's office called and said they were coming, but I don't know when.
Please give us at least an intersection of where you are so that people can understand that
Buffalo Speedway and North Braeswood Boulevard.
Okay, Buffalo Speedway and North Braeswood Boulevard, and you have multiple people and pets with you. Hold on 1 second. We're going to go to a news conference with Harris County Judge Ed Emmett. Let's listen in.
We have, and I certainly shouldn't have to say, stay inside, do not venture out. There are many people right now who are in very, very dire circumstances. If you have a life-threatening emergency, life-threatening only, dial 911. The phone lines are backed up. We understand that. This is an area-wide situation.
Let's go to Justin with that tornado warning.
All right, thanks, Frank. So we now are up to 3 tornado warnings. I want to give you a quick update on the first one that we saw, the one over towards Needville. This one here, this is the observed tornado. So not a radar indicated, meaning that we're just seeing the rotation on the radar, but we have been, has been a spotter. And in fact, approximate location of that coming in from Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office is at FM 442 and FM 360. So if you live around those areas near Needville, FM 442 and FM 360, you need to hunker down and take shelter immediately. They've at least seen a funnel cloud. Do believe that there may be a tornado on the ground. Very, very dangerous situation that's going to work its way towards Roseburg and eventually Richmond Lakes.
HPD making a plea for anyone who has an aluminum John boat to take that boat and bring it to the nearest HPD police station, because police out there in our great city need help right now assisting people with rescues from their homes. Certainly a very dire situation taking place. So if you have a John boat, just take it right to the nearest police station. They could certainly use your help right now.
The county also needs help, so that encompasses the city of Houston, Houston Police Department. The county says they are in desperate need of boats or high water vehicles. We heard that in that news conference with Ed Emmett.
There are still hundreds of people back there. They're driving these boats up and down, and one volunteer who's been here for hours says we might be here all night long.
We're on Beltway 8 at 45. We're going to stay with this picture for a minute. They literally, it felt like, we jokingly said, it felt like we went through another hurricane a moment ago because the winds and the rain were so intense right up here on 45, I should say above 45 at Beltway 8. But we're really keeping an eye on that helicopter to see if they lower any rescue swimmers, if they lower a basket. They have about 3 or 4 different ways that they can pull people out of floodwaters off of the tops of homes.
I want to call your attention to the bottom of your screen as we're showing you these next pictures. These are shelter information, useful information in the crawl, but check this out. These are seniors, a nursing home in Dickinson that was evacuated after severe flooding. This is a photo that was taken by sent to Channel 2 by a relative of one of these people. It was at the La Vida Bella nursing home. I mean, how would you even describe?
It is alarming to see that. It is absolutely alarming, mind-blowing to see those folks in this situation right now.
Yeah, so right now, the good news in all of this is the Galveston Office of Emergency Management tells us the seniors have been rescued and removed from the building, but I want you to take a moment to pause, to look at your screens, and to internalize something, that this is not one location that is dealing with scenarios like this. These are locations all across our viewing area right now that are in dire need of assistance.
Mr. Powell's lived in Bel Air for how long, Mr. Powell?
60 years.
You know, what did they have to do to help you get here to safety?
The boys from California brought us over here from our house by boat. And then they dropped us. We were supposed to get a medical checkup, but hey.
What was the state of your house, sir? What was the state of where you were at?
Had 2 to 3 feet of water in it.
Yeah, knee deep. Knee deep up to here with water.
I'm sorry, sir?
It happened since daylight. The whole damn floor is wet right now.
You know, how thankful are you for the people here who have brought you to safety?
Hey, they're a great bunch of boys, but what are we going to do?
All right, we are going to get back to Roseanne's report from Meyerland in just a moment, but right now we are joined by phone by the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner.
Mayor, you're with us?
I am with you. I'm with you.
First, want to talk to you about something. I've had some folks message me through Facebook saying they're having a very difficult time getting through to 311 and 211 right now because they have non-emergency situations and they're asking for assistance. What's going on with those lines right now? Can you tell us?
There are a lot of calls going into 911 and 211. a lot of calls. What I would encourage people is to keep calling. And we're encouraging people that if it's a non-emergency situation for now, if they will hold and allow us to deal with the more life-threatening calls first. That is a high priority. That's the number one priority. But keep trying. Literally, the system is getting thousands of calls. We recognize there are tremendous needs all throughout the city, and we are endeavoring to respond to each and every one of them. But our top priority are life-threatening calls.
I want to update you on the water level there at Brays Bayou near the Med Center. This is Brays Bayou at South Main, now a half a foot out of its banks. This is in the medical center. 1.5 feet out of its banks.
This is video, you may recognize it for some of you. This is video inside of MD Anderson. And if you look past those glass doors, you could see all of that water. I believe that's the valet parking area where people pull up and turn around and drop family members and loved ones off. But this is also MD Anderson. Our producer is saying this is also taken inside of MD Anderson. Another trouble spot that we've seen once again with devastating flooding has been near the Meyerland area. Our reporter Roseanne Aragon has been out there. She's, we understand, at 610 and Beechnut. And who do you have with you, Roseanne?
Right now, I have these two gentlemen who live in the Bel Air area, and they're actually rescuing people with the kayaks. Can you tell me what have you been doing all day?
Well, after the rain stopped and we felt like we had a window, we got out with our kayaks to see if some of our neighbors needed some help moving people out of floodwaters into dry areas where they could get picked up, or at least got to their neighbors with a higher house.
Were you able to save some people so far?
6-month-old baby and a couple of elderly grandparents so far, and then checking on people who might need help standing outside.
What are conditions like out there?
They're fairly rough. I mean, it depends area by area, but the water's up to around waist deep, and obviously a lot of people have got water in their homes, so they're concerned and anxious, understandably.
Are there any areas that are a bit better than others if people are really stuck there and need to find a better area?
Yeah, I mean, the further north and west you go in Bel Air, the water seems to be a little shallower, so when you get up to Chimney Rock and you start to head north and west there, it's down to 4 or 5 inches, whereas here, both inside the loop and just outside the loop, it's pretty deep.
Can you show me, how are you, rescuing people? These are your boats right here?
Yeah, I mean, what we've been doing is putting people in the chairs, and since I have waders on, just towing them to where they can get, where we can walk chest deep or waist deep. We just pull them in the kayak. They sit in the kayak and we pull them.
What motivated you today?
Just concern for the neighbors, wanted to help out.
What will you be doing from now until the end of the day? Will you be doing this, or are you going somewhere else?
Same thing. Anyone needs help, 713-651-0773 here in Bel Air. We can help move you guys out to areas where y'all can get picked up, or a staging area.
Why'd you come out here to give your time?
I don't know. Actually, I was watching the stuff over off of Federal and I-10, and all the people coming out. Talked to my brother-in-law. He's a Baytown assistant chief, and he was like, I can't sit around anymore. So he and my son and his son and one of their cousins just decided to come out and do what we could.
Now, this isn't something that you have to do, that you were asked to do. This is something that you have decided that you're going to take on.
That's correct. I mean, good Lord spared us. No reason we can't come out and help other folks that weren't as fortunate as we were.
Now, we've been here for several hours, and we have been seeing just the look on people's faces. They are so exhausted, but they are relieved. Many of them are very emotional. What goes through your mind when you receive them here?
Actually, I kind of understand what they're going through after last night. I mean, we were within a few feet of having water going into our house, and just the anxiety was up all night, and I understand. I mean, fortunately for me, I'm luckier than they were. They've lost everything, so, just come out and do whatever we can to help.
Very noble thing that you're doing out here, sir.
Nothing noble about it. It's just all part of being a good neighbor.
We're hearing that at least 200 people, maybe even 400 people, could be rescued when all this is said and done. A lot of these folks are being taken to the elementary school, Wedgwood Elementary School, just down the road here. One woman that I was talking to on Facebook, she was giving me the address of her family. It was her brother, her brother's wife, and 1-year-old baby. She didn't know if they were okay. We were communicating back and forth. I said, there's boats coming around if they can see the boats, and they're on the roof. yell for the boats, flag them down, and that's exactly what they did. Good news is that family with the 1-year-old baby, I did happen to see them. I talked to them. They made it out okay.
You can see here at 517, folks out of their vehicles on the main lanes. These folks are stuck, just pulled over to the side, either because their car is disabled or because they're just waiting this out. There's nowhere to go. You can't exit the freeway. If you get onto a freeway to get onto the service road, it just continues to look flooded.
Jeff Leonard, the Harris County Flood Control District, on the phone with us. Jeff, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, first of all, just tell us, are any of the bayous or any of these watersheds at this point going down?
We have seen very little falls on any of our bayous. In the southeast part of Harris County on Vince and Little Vince and Berry Bayou, we have seen the water recede in those particular areas, and these are some of the areas that had such horrible flooding overnight. In those particular areas in the Pasadena and the city of South Houston, the channels themselves have fallen, but there's still widespread flooding around them. Unfortunately, we have seen continued rises on nearly all the other bayous, and we have some staggering statistics right now. On Brays Bayou at Meyerland, we have exceeded the record flood by almost a foot.
We are live now, Gulf Freeway at Astoria. As you can see, these rescues are going on right now. The fire department tells us that they've rescued some 400 people. They've been here all day. They're here on the freeway. They're being loaded onto these Hilton furniture trucks and being taken to safety. You walk with me for a second. Many of these people in their homes, and it was quite a lot of water there all day. Sir, if you don't mind for a second, just tell me, what were the conditions back there? We know that there was a lot of water, but can you just describe the situation back there?
Indescribable. With 2 kids, it was hard to imagine sitting through this, and wow.
Sure thing. Wow. Well, thank you. I'm really happy that you and your family are safe. Thank you so much. And as you can see, a lot of people who are being loaded onto these Hilton trucks. It's Hilton Koch, who said to me a few minutes ago, and we'll talk to him in a second, that he was driving by and he saw the fire department rescuing people, and they were here and they didn't know what to do with them. So he figured he'd bring a few of his trucks over here and get people onto the trucks and to shelter. As you can see, there are a lot of people here, some 400 people according to the fire department.
I want to check back in with our Anusha Rasta. She is live with the water rescue right now at Beltway and Beamer. That is in southeast Houston. Anusha?
Jonathan, Lauren, that's right. All day long, we've been out here in southeast Houston showing you the generosity of Houstonians. They've been offering their time and their resources to help with this rescue effort, especially now as we get later into the day before it gets dark. Of course, everybody is bringing their personal boats out here, their personal four-wheelers, trucks, to try and rescue folks who are living along Beamer here in southeast Houston, who are stranded in their homes because their homes are completely flooded. Caesar, if you want to pan this other way around here, we can see on Kirkridge and Beamer just how dramatic these rescue efforts are. The water levels are very high. We want to talk to our boat operator now. His name is Greg. He has brought his personal 18-foot, is it flat bottom boat out here to help folks. And Greg, what a remarkable thing that you're doing out here with your friends to try and help these people.
Yeah, I came out here to pick up a family member, and on the way back picked up other people.
Did you realize that it was going to be this bad?
No, I did not.
What goes on in your mind when obviously you're operating this boat down what used to be a street? It looks like a river completely.
Never thought I'd have my boat on a street.
Robert Arnold is live for us now in the medical center with the latest on that. Robert?
Yeah, specifically, we're at the intersection. We're actually on Ardmore in between South McGregor Way and North McGregor Way. And yes, this is Brays Bayou. Not only is it out of its banks, that current is incredibly swift as it's been pushing across Ardmore. It's also hammering a lot of debris up against the guardrail. It's sending some of that debris not only downstream but into the neighborhoods in this area. It's amazing to me to think that 16 years ago I was saying almost the exact same thing when Allison came through this area. We were trying to get into the medical center. Specifically, we were trying to get to Ben Taub because we were trying to get some more information about some critical care patient evacuations. We could not get there. We drove drove all around this area. We down OST, Cambridge, tried every side street. At some point, we would get stuck by high water. The area is impassable.
Joel Eisenbaum is out in Cypress now to show us what he's seeing out there as far as damage. And are you going with someone to possibly go rescue?
I'm having a little trouble with my earpiece.
All right, go ahead, Joel.
Lauren, I'm sorry, my earpiece is in and out, but I hope you can hear me. We're right now on a rescue boat with the Cypress Creek Volunteer Fire Department. They have so far picked up, what, 90-plus people?
150 for the day.
150 for the day. 150 people. There are hundreds of houses located within, I'd say, a quarter to a half mile of where we are right now. And where we are right now is Jones Road coming up to Cypress Creek, isn't it? Right around the corner here?
We just passed Idlebrook.
Just past Idlebrook? I want to talk to you real quickly. So I know it's tough for you, John. Be careful. Grab a rail here. So, I mean, how are you doing it at this point? Are you just going down every single city street looking for somebody? I can hold on to you.
Yes, sir. At the beginning, we were going down. There's a lot of people outside. And then after the first rain came through, everyone kind of went back in their houses, and then we made a second run, and they were kind of waiting on us on our second run. So everyone was ready to get out, and we pretty much cleared this whole neighborhood.
I mean, how many feet of water? That's the top of a street sign right there. Yes, and we just passed over the top of a car.
Yes, sir. There's a good 4 to 5 feet in some areas.
Man, I think it's more than that right here.
In some areas, there's around 6 to 7 feet. There's a stop sign up here. It's almost completely underwater. We've been riding this every day, and it's been rising throughout the day.
I mean, this is incredible to me. We're going to go down a side street right here. Let's take a look if we can, John. I'll kind of brace you right here. If we can flip around, look at this house. Look at these houses behind me. I'm going to grab this rail right here. I mean, look at that. There are several feet of water inside these homes. These people, I would imagine, do live in a floodplain because this is right on the apron, the edge of the Cypress Creek right off of Jones Road. And look at that garage right there. I mean, that's up to the windows of your typical garage. That's probably a good 4.5, 5 feet right there.
Country, why did you come out here from Pasadena to help people out?
That is just God's doing. You know, we're out here to help people, and, you know, that's what we're all about, us Texans helping each other.
Absolutely. So you've been out here for about 2 hours. What exactly have you seen while you've been out here?
Man, a lot of flooding, and helping out a lot of people getting in the boat, and elderly people to get them in the boat and trying to get them to higher grounds and safety.
Have you had any challenges so far while trying to rescue people?
No, actually one time where it was a little bit steep, so we had to turn around. It was at 1 foot, so we just turned around and just got back and tried to go find other people.
Roseanne, I believe that you are still there, 610 in Beach Nut area. Tell us and show us what the conditions are like now.
That's right. This is the 5A Beach Nut exit on 610 South, and you see help has come. This is the Texas Army National Guard. They came from San Antonio. You can see all of these men and women have traveled in order to help the people who needed help at this boat ramp. They're finally here, and they brought a lot of people. Take a look at all of this power, all of these, men and women, and take a look at this right there. You see, that is a Publix work truck with people who were rescued, who were in flooded homes. Now they are being taken to a place that's much safer than this, and they have the comforts of being with the Army National Guard. Now, we just saw a helicopter a little bit ago. I'm not sure if you could still see that now, but that just speaks for itself. Everybody, look at that. Those are families. Those are people who were stranded in homes, and now the National Guard is here.
We just learned that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has decided to release an undetermined amount of water into the attics or from the attics and Barker dams.
Yes, there will be intermittent releases. Now, the timing of this is most certainly unusual, considering the amount of rainfall that we have coming down and will continue to have. And then, of course, the impact that this is going to have at homes and property all along Buffalo Bayou, from the west side of town all the way into downtown Houston. So this could have a potential tremendous impact.
This water is coming, and it is rising, and we're going to have to deal with it. And so find your house if you can on there, find your street, and if it looks like you're going to be inundated, get your stuff together tonight, and maybe first thing in the morning, see if you can try to relocate. Let's not try to do that tonight. The pool is not going to get high enough tonight to start flooding homes, so you will have some time in the morning to do that, but you would need to be preparing tonight.
And so, Jeff, is this what we're talking about? This it's not official, but what you're calling for essentially are voluntary evacuations for folks who fall in this area.
Yes, a self-evacuation, if you will, of these areas. And the reason, we have so much going on right now with rescues in progress and people trapped and all this, and we have been desperately trying to get to all of these different areas and we don't even know right now if we could, if people can even get out of these areas and get to a place that we would ask them to go to.
And we need to go over to Justin really quick, and I understand that we have an expanded tornado warning. Is this correct?
Yeah, kind of an extension of the same tornado warning that we had, Dominique. In fact, that one now, you can see it's taken Sugar Land and much of the Rosenberg area out of that. That's now for Mission Bend, up towards Cinco Ranch, just outside of Katy. And I mean, the color says it all. Look at the just fire hose from Sienna Plantation all the way up.
Jeff Linder and the Addicks Dam release. Jeff Linder right now is at Transtar talking about the maps that he mentioned to us earlier. Here's Jeff Linder right now.
This is I-10 to the north. This is State Highway Grand Parkway 99 to the west. This is the West Park Toll Road to the south. This is the dam. This is Highway 6, and Buffalo Bayou is right here. This is east going to downtown Houston. This is the pool of the reservoir. This is meant to be flooded by the incoming water from the creeks that drain out of Fort Bend and Waller and western Harris counties. The concern we have is that this pool is going to fill up and it is going to back into these areas that butt up against the western edge of the pool.
That's what Jeff was showing.
That's the Barker
That's the Barker
release.
Reservoir flood estimate at 104 feet. Misspelled, thank you. That's my doing. That is the same map that we got from the Memorial Day floods.
Yeah, I would say that looks almost eerily similar to what we saw a couple of years ago.
Joel Eisenbaum right now on the back end of that reservoir in one of those neighborhoods that is definitely going to be affected.
Yeah, I think this definitely is the back end because that is Highway 6 if you look down there, and this is Clay Road. So literally, as far as the federal government is concerned, because I was here on tax day, right there, Bear Creek Golf Course is part of Addicks Reservoir. So the federal government says this is basically flood area that they can use, they're allowed to use. Right across the street is Bear Creek Village. So that is part of the reservoir. These folks live right across the street, and their neighborhood, as you can imagine, I remember at tax day, I was in this exact same spot, what is it, a year and a half ago or whatever that was, and folks here, it was really the same issue. The folks that lived on the back end of Addicks Reservoir couldn't wait for them to do the releases of the reservoirs because you heard Jeff Linder say it. The water is coming into these reservoirs at a faster rate than they can shoot it down Buffalo Bayou. I mean, it's a lose-lose, obviously, but if you live on this end of it, you want them to start dumping water out of the reservoirs.
Oh, look, there's somebody right next to it.
There's a boat that just drove, that just went right by it, and they are now at the back of that vehicle.
You know what? I mean, it makes me think maybe someone's...
Yeah, someone's got to be in.
Someone's got to be in there if they're trying to.
And the water level has come up as we've been watching this.
Yeah.
Don't know exactly. They're going to try to get in that the back of that vehicle somehow. At least that's what it appears. It looks like they might have some type of device to break it.
Because I bet more of that window is exposed toward the back because of the angle, the way that car is pitched.
Well, this will certainly be remarkable with someone inside this car because we first noticed this shot, what, about 25, 30 minutes ago?
30 minutes ago, yeah.
And who knows how long they were in there before that.
Yeah.
Incredible. So we just saw some type of a jet ski or some type of a little power boat go alongside, and now we can see somebody on the back end of that car.
Yeah, and we know our assignment desk producers have to be on the phone in touch with either this would either be Katy Police or Fort Bend County Sheriffs or perhaps the constable there. We certainly need to get in touch with them to see if any of those agencies are involved in this particular rescue. But yeah, there were two individuals on a boat who just flew up to this vehicle, and they're now at the back end of it.
I see one person. Do you see another, or is the pole hiding them?
Yeah, I can't see the second person, but there were definitely two people on the boat when it flew up.
Right. Well, one must still be on it, and so maybe just to drop this person off. It looks like he just reeled in something. Maybe he was trying to get a basket or some type of something to attach.
Yeah, and if he's not going to break that window, it could be too dangerous to do that, depending on where this individual is. He could have some type of device to get that lock, to jimmy the lock and get inside that door.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. And so there's the other individual with a boat, on that boat, and now that person. And there's a third person in the boat as well. So we're watching what we hope and pray is a rescue mission.
They're moving
right
quickly.
now.
Yeah, there's a definite sense of urgency
And
here.
you know, I wonder if that was the individual who...
I was just going to say...
Yeah, that might have been the person in the back.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that was the person in the car.
Could there be more people in this car, too?
Yeah, not taken off yet. It almost appears that there's still someone in the back of that vehicle, but it's
They're
really
trying to
hard
break the
tell.
front windshield, or no, just... We're just shining a light in there?
So there
Hard to say.
Two individuals who rode up on that boat, and then there was one person that they just pulled inside.
Which was the gentleman we saw sitting on the back, is that correct? So it was one.
Yeah, so he must have, it looks like he was the person who was in that vehicle and was able to get out the back.
That's incredible.
Wow.
And so, you know, maybe they threw him a life jacket or something, and that's what we saw him reeling in, but it looks like at this point it was a successful rescue. My goodness.
Oh, there we go. We can see more now. They just tipped the camera down, so they've made it to a dry spot.
I've got some heartwarming pictures to show you. The people that are so glad that they have got shelter and food, and they are dry right now. Look at this family that just laid down to go to sleep here, a mother and father and their two children. We have a father over here with his two beautiful daughters right here. People here at Dobie High School are sprawled out all over every square inch of floor that you can find, and that's where they are making their home tonight. This is all they have to go to, but they seem to be in pretty good spirits.
So that's as far as you can go then, Kathy. I mean, like, you guys can't keep going north there, right, on that feeder road? Does that stop up ahead?
Well, okay, so on the other side of us is more water.
Right.
So you can't exit.
Okay.
You can't go forward.
That's it.
It's just, you're basically stopped right here.
I'm sorry, I was confused. You're actually on the main lanes of the freeway then. That's my bad. I got you.
Main lanes, yes, main lanes of the freeway, which now looks like
it's hard to wrap your head around it, Kathy. It really is. I mean, what you're showing us is just incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, especially being from Houston.
Sure.
I know exactly what this looks like, and, you know, we all know exactly what this looks like. Usually at this hour on a normal day, crazy busy.
Yeah.
Rush hour, morning rush hour, it's just so crazy that I'm right now standing on the freeway and it's covered with water.
We were waist deep, and our house was on fire. Our garage got on fire about an hour ago.
Still burning. Your house is still burning right now?
Yes.
What do you think caused it?
The garage. The garage,
the breaker.
Something. The water got into the breaker, just...
So water is in your house?
Yes.
How high is it in your house?
45 inches.
45 inches. Oh my goodness. How are y'all feeling right now?
Cold. Numb. We have to rebuild our entire life. It's not because we have everything upstairs and now everything is gone. So one thing is to lose half of your stuff, another thing is to lose everything. But God is with us and He's in control and we'll be okay.
We're going to go back to the George R. Brown Convention Center, which is kind of where a massive gathering point for people who are seeking shelter at this hour. Haley Hernandez.
It has been, guys, and you know, I've been here all night long, and we have been begging people to bring donations as soon as they can safely leave their house. One of the big things we need is baby supplies. Well, look here. We have diapers coming in, and they're going out. As you can imagine, these are going to get used up fast. They're going up as fast as they come in. But look at what you've done, Houston. Look at all of the donations that are coming in. Baby clothes. We begged you for baby clothes. Here they are. Down here, we've got the diapers. We've got the female clothes, and the men's clothes and all the children lining up to get it. Caesar, can you see this long line of people? I mean, there are so many people here that left with no warning. They didn't have time to pack a bag. They came here with wet clothes from standing in the rain all day. So you know what? Another one of the things that they're trying to ask people to remember, in addition to baby clothes and baby formulas and diapers and adult clothes, they're also asking for socks because people have been standing around in socks all day. And Officer Thurgood, he's not going to want too much attention, but he gave us, I saw you give your socks off your own feet.
Yeah, man. I mean, anything for the people to help them out. I mean, you know, this is a disaster.
I've never seen anybody do anything like that, though. Yeah. There is bad news literally flooding Houston right now, and you're doing good things.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, anything for these people. I work with the homeless outreach team, and these guys are like family for me.
Now to Sienna Plantation. Let's get to the evacuation map. I will show you what radar looks like up on the map. Zoom into Sienna as you see that I'm doing, and then head down to the alternate route, which, by the way, this was from the judge saying to take LJ Parkway to University, taking University 259 to Southwest. You can head inbound on the Southwest Freeway, but you're not going to get into downtown Houston. You can take 59 outbound and go to 99. According to the judge, 99 is open all the way to I-10. I have heard discrepancies. I'm getting with the HPD officer that I heard from earlier who said it's underwater at West Belfort and Aliana, and Google Maps is showing major red around Aliana, so I'm having a hard time thinking that every single vehicle can get by on 99. But what I can tell you is a viewer called and said, what about taking 359, which is open? And I checked Google Maps, and that looked like it was further to the truth than 99. So 359, if you're leaving Pecan Grove, that can get you up to the Katy Freeway.
It is an incredible scene out here. I've never seen this much water up on houses. We're right off Cypress Creek. It's probably about 4 blocks, what's usually Cypress Creek. All of this is now Cypress Creek. And we are talking about water that is most certainly inundated the entire first floor of a lot of these homes. I mean, Johnny, can you show them that stop sign? That's a stop sign. So what is that? That's 5 or 6 feet up right there. I mean, there is no way that if you're back here, you should be in your house. And so these folks have literally plucked out hundreds of people yesterday and today. This is Captain Dickerson. He works with Ponderosa Fire, and you guys have been at this really constantly for the last 2 days now.
Constantly.
I mean, how's it working? Are people calling in? Do you just make patrols up and down these streets, or what?
Dispatch is being overwhelmed, not just with this neighborhood, but several other fire departments in the area. We make patrols, we get call sheets, we hand them out to our folks, and they go out and start picking them up.
Same token, you've run into plenty of people that are still holing up in their houses. I mean, are they holing up in houses that look like this and just staying on the second floor?
We've had people on the second floor, people in the attic, people on the roof, people in trees, so they're everywhere.
We want to go to a live rescue right now in Northeast Houston with our Bill Spencer. Bill, take it away.
Yeah, so right now, this woman who's in her 80s has just been rescued from the house. They are carrying her, the Houston Fire Department, paramedics, and volunteers are carrying her through the flood waters onto another stretcher, and then they're going to transport her via that ambulance right there. Took a lot of people to make this happen. Again, first responders and volunteers, like all of these people you see right here, running by, all to get this woman out of her house where she was trapped. Right here on Whipwreck Street, right along the 610 loop. They rescued her from her home just a few minutes ago, carried her out on a stretcher, and now she is about to be loaded into that ambulance. You can see how quickly they are moving. We're not exactly sure what she's suffering from. We have been told that she's got a number of health problems, but the good news is the fire department is here. They've got her loaded, and all of these volunteers you see here, all of these men are rescuing people, as well as that senior citizen, the woman that was rescued from her house.
Your home is okay?
Yeah, home's
because
great.
I know people are going to want to know.
And yours is too.
And we are fine. And we thank God and we thank our lucky stars, and we send out our thoughts and our prayers to anybody and everybody who's suffering. It's a gut-wrenching job to do because we see the pain and we see the heartbreak, but we know that this is exactly where we need to be.
And we know that many of you watching tonight have water in your homes. You're in a state of desperation, near panic, wondering when this is going to end. I think Frank's got some fairly good news for us a little bit later. But remember, it will pass. We will get through this as we always have in the past and always will in the future. So just hang in there a little bit. We'll get through it.
Boy, has this hotel taken on some water. Anusha Rasta is there now with the latest.
Yes, Bill and Dominique, we have some troubling news to report for you from the Omni Hotel. We just got confirmation from the hotel that one of their employees is missing. They say that about 100 guests and employees were being evacuated as the floodwaters were rising rapidly. Let me zoom in here with our photographer so you can take a look at just how high the floodwaters are right now. That car, you can only see the top of it. Now, according to the Omni Hotels, they were evacuating folks when one of their employees went missing. Now, according to an employee's Facebook post, there was an internal memo sent by the CEO of the hotels of the company, and they're confirming that the missing employee is Jill Rennick, that she was a spa director. I spoke with a close family member, and she told me, yes, her name is Jill Rennick. This is a photo of Jill. She is missing here in this area, they believe, at the Omni Hotel. Now, her family member told me that her car is still parked here and that they believe she may be in an elevator. This family member told me that the staff at the Omni Hotel has checked 2 out of the 3 elevators, but the third one, they say, is in the basement underwater, and they cannot check it until the water goes down at least 20 inches.
If you We'll keep the images up of what's going on 290 on the northwest side of Harris County. Kimbrella and I are going to talk about the coast. We have a pretty serious situation going on in Galveston. What's been happening is Tropical Storm Harvey is so far south in the Gulf of Mexico. It's still relatively close to shore, but farther south than what was anticipated a couple days ago with the forecast. Because of the strong offshore wind, it is pushing bay water into the island. This is the strand right now. When the rain picks up, those water levels are increasing because you have the bay pushing in. At the same time, you have intense rainfall coming down. So we have water that is rushing over the sidewalk in the strand. We have no control over this camera, so if it erratically moves, I apologize for that. But water is covering the sidewalks of the strand. It's getting close to the business areas, and you know, it is just awful out there. We have winds that are sustained. I'm going to go ahead and pull up these wind speeds.
And they're gusting at 43. Whatever the sustained amounts are, they're gusting at 43 miles an hour. And the rain amounts themselves, we've seen heavier rain amounts about 1.25 inches over the last 3 hours. But in the last hour or so, it's been a little bit under 1/2 inch in that half an hour. But it's with the wind is what's helping to push that in and make that camera shot that we had look pretty intimidating in Galveston right now.
610 is in the clear, main lanes between, you know, South Loop is good. If you're in the medical center area, I don't know what side streets are flooded near the medical center. I think they are all good, but I'm talking main lanes right now. South Loop, you're good to go. West Loop, you're good to go. Water has receded. We're still seeing high water around Woodway and Memorial along the service road, but the main lanes are okay. Then you can take that out to 290. 290 reports of high water are very minimal, only to feeder roads, but I'm talking main lanes you can shoot out and to get to Spring Cypress. And I've heard that a caller called into our newsroom and said this is the way they got from the south to the north, by using 610, shooting outbound on 290, taking Spring Cypress over to the north side, and then taking 45 northbound. And do want to advise that in southbound, we have high water on 45 the north before you reach 99. But northbound, I saw that it was clear. Then you can head up to Conroe or Willis.
Getting in touch with family members and making your presence known is really important. A lot of people are getting separated. Hamida here is joining me, and you were separated from your family members, right?
Yes.
And you were telling me that it was really important for you to want to go on TV today, because why?
To let my son McCaden know. I'm sorry.
I know.
To let my son McCaden know that Umi is fine. I'm here with a lot of people, and we're fine. I'm sorry.
They've been worried about you.
And he just wanted to see my face.
Now, you have a little bit of a different situation because her family does know that she's here and she has been in touch with them via phone, but you were telling me that you were separated because you were in a car and you had to be rescued from a separate area than your home. Your family is still at home and they can't get to you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell me your story about how you were rescued.
I was on my way home from work, and I was supposed to get off on 45, and for some reason I missed my exit by the grace of God, and I ended up downtown. I slept in my car Saturday night. Actually, I heard on the radio that they were opening up this shelter, and I came over here.
So many heroic actions taking place across our area right now. I want to show you one of them, a water rescue that's happening at 99 at the San Jacinto Bridge. We've got a live picture now. This is State Highway 99 at the San Jacinto Bridge. You are looking live at a water rescue that's happening. Difficult to say.
Is that a boat there? I believe it's a small boat behind that truck.
And you can see just how high the water is there. I mean, almost up to the windows of that vehicle, and you can see the SUV just there back behind it. Just an incredible amount of water flowing through there right now. You could see the person that's about to be rescued basically just sitting there and waiting with an umbrella.
It's a scary situation because you can also see, if you take a good look at the water there around that truck, there are swirling currents. And
there are two people.
Jennifer's telling us
there are two people. She's got a better eye on that from her desk over there.
Okay. Yeah, Jennifer, what kind of, is this from the San Jacinto River flooding? Okay.
Yes, and so we showed this picture earlier. We got a lot of calls and a ton of emails. We know about the situation. We have called and alerted authorities.
We told you about that high water rescue a little bit earlier, happening over at 99 in the San Jacinto Bridge, and this is how it all went down. There were two people stranded on that truck for quite some time, and finally they were able to get to those two men and rescue them.
They're now in a boat and on their way back to some dry land.
People, they just need help, and you got to do it. You either make a choice and laugh about it, or you do something about it, or you can complain. And we just chose to do something, so. That's it. I mean,
you're awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for what you're doing. We appreciate
it. Bro.
And I'm guessing you're going back in there.
Well, I was going to tell you that they wanted y'all to move up a little bit, so
we need to move out of the way.
No, it's fine. You got to rush, but okay. They're gonna get this truck out of here.
Absolutely.
But no, you good, man. You know, you gotta put the news out there.
You're kind. Well, we're gonna move out of the way because we don't want to slow up progress.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, and y'all be safe back there.
All right, bro.
Certainly. Thank you.
I do want to update you on a pretty serious situation. We're talking about that chemical plant that's in the Crosby area that is really causing what I would say is a fairly large evacuation within a 1.5 mile radius of that plant. And this is the latest group to come off. What time is it now? It's 7:30. They're trying to wrap up this operation before it gets dark out. And we've seen a steady stream of men, women, children, and every sort of animal you can think of being evacuated out of these areas. In terms of the threat itself, I have been trying desperately to get some reliable information in terms of this plant, a plant that since Friday night apparently has been going downhill. They have a chemical that is apparently unstable when it reaches a certain temperature. The refrigerating units are no longer working, or at least they're seriously on the fritz, and so that's the root of the problem here.
Our Anusha Rasta, the last time we checked in, she was at Lakewood Church, and she showed us a gentleman, a 91-year-old man who was looking for his daughter, who lived in Pearland, I believe.
Porter. Yeah, Sandra, who lived in Porter, Texas.
Sandra in Porter, and go ahead. I'm not going to say it. This is your story, Anusha.
We are so excited to report that Teddy Gifford has connected with his daughter, Sandra. We were able to get in touch with her, and, you know, it's thanks to the community out there. As soon as we did our report and I put the photo out on Facebook, it was shared more than 12,000 times. That was less than an hour ago. 12,000 shares of Teddy Gifford's post, and we are so thankful for the community. Thank you so much. People have been emailing me nonstop trying to find any information information they can and pass it along to me so that we can track this family down. We were successful. We have tracked them down, and they are on their way to connect with Teddy Gifford. So we're so excited that this man will be reunited with his family. This is a very satisfying feeling. I'm so happy that we have some good news to report to you after so many days of tragedy.
Our Cambrell Marshall is there with the good volunteers who are donating their time this morning.
Absolutely. This opportunity to volunteer never dries up. 713-778-8920. In just an hour and a half, about $15,500. Is that up now? I'm sorry, 27,000, excuse me. That just updated just a moment ago. Our volunteers have been taking your calls, 713-778-8920. No contribution is too small, though we've been getting $100s, $500s, $1,000. A lot of people have been watching what's been happening in our community. They know that they want to be able to help. We've been doing this for about an hour and a half. The Red Cross volunteers are working around the clock to make sure that the money you donate will go toward helping give food and shelter to those who have been displaced by Tropical Storm Harvey. Now, how much money is too much? There is no such thing. But we know each and every one of you individually is going to want to give something. But we also have some great community partners who also get involved and make contributions to this community in so many ways. And our friends from Marathon Oil are here this morning to talk about what they've done. We've got Michael Eklund, who's General Counsel of Marathon, along with Katie from the Red Cross. And this is not an insignificant amount. Talk about your donation this morning.
Cambrell, we know this community is in need right now, and it's my pleasure. I'm very proud to present a check for $100,000 to our friends at the Red Cross today.
And here's what's happening right now at the top of the hour on Channel 2 News at 10 o'clock. A new look at the flood catastrophe from the air. For the first time since Harvey hit, Sky 2 able to fly over some of the hardest hit areas in Houston.
Help for HPD. Hundreds of officers from across the state of Texas converged downtown to offer assistance to Houston police.
And very sadly, remembering the victims. A couple in Simonton found dead in their car. They are the most recent, but among at least 23 people who have died in Texas from this terrible storm. Thank you for staying with us throughout our extended coverage. I'm Bill Biassa.
Hello, I'm Dominique Saxa. We so appreciate you being here. It has been a long, busy, and full day. So many different areas to discuss, from being able to see our city from overhead, from seeing our shelters overflow and expand, and then just late tonight to be able to see that kind of assistance and help to HPD. That's the kind of stuff that makes your heart swell.
And to continue to watch Neighbor Helping Neighbor here in Houston, and showing the nation how it gets done. Now, one area we continue to watch closely tonight is around the Addicks and Barker reservoirs.
Both are swollen, and the concern now is flooding into neighborhoods surrounding those reservoirs.
Channel 2's Brandon Walker joining us live near the Addicks along I-10 at Derry Ashford. Brandon?
Yeah, Bill and Dominique, and you saw those dramatic images from Sky 2 showing that flooding as a result of the Addicks and Barker reservoirs. And you also saw video of that water compromising the Katy freeway here, and that's what we've been following tonight.
Robert Arnold is at a nursing home in Port Arthur that is currently being evacuated. We need to get to him tonight. Robert?
Yes, once that Chinook in the distance takes off, we are told by Army Reserves that will be 259 elderly patients who have been transported out of this area. When Harvey came through, the floodwaters rose quickly and swamped several neighborhoods throughout Jefferson County.
Here's what's happening right now at 10. To the rescue. New video of high water operations in the Katy area showing a caravan of Army Humvees.
Out of danger, a woman in her 70s removed from her waterlogged home. Tonight, Channel 2 News goes along for the dramatic ride.
And social media hysteria. The state saying, don't believe the rumors about a gasoline shortage. So why the long lines and the empty pumps? Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this hour-long edition of Channel 2 News at 10. I'm Bill Biassa.
Hello, I'm Dominique Saxa. Thank you for being with us. We do have live team coverage of Houston's recovery efforts in the wake of one of the most damaging and deadly storms that our city has ever seen.
The latest number into our newsroom, 25 confirmed flood-related deaths in Harris County alone. Channel 2 Sion Rhodes joining us live in East Harris County, where another body has been found, this time along Greens Bayou. Sion?
And close friends and family tell me that body that was discovered here today was one of 4 men who disappeared Monday after they went out on a boat in the middle of the storm trying to save lives. Facebook Live video that those men made on Monday as they were out trying to rescue stranded residents along Greens Bayou between Wallaceville Road and Wood Forest Boulevard. The 5 volunteer rescuers joined on that boat by 2 British journalists. Now, according to close friends of the families, that boat ran into downed power lines. The 2 journalists and one of the volunteers clung to a nearby tree. They survived. 4 others still missing. This afternoon, Harris County Sheriff's deputies recovering a body along the banks of the bayou along Province and Toulouse. Neighbors who live right here behind the bayou say they were shaken by the discovery.
I understand that they were helpless against what happened to them, and my heart goes out to the family. And I hope they don't find anyone else like that.
And family friends tell me the man recovered today is the 3rd to be found deceased. 1 more man is still missing. Reporting live, Sion Rhodes, Kprc, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Sion. And as the waters begin to recede, we are getting a better understanding of the scope of the damage left behind. Channel 2's Keith Garvin is live in Dickinson with families who are just now starting to clean up. Keith?
Dominic, we are less than a mile from the Dickinson Bayou, and piles of debris like the one you see behind me are sitting in front of just about every single home within just a few blocks. You can see washing machines and a dryer, blankets, pillow, and what's left of furniture. Now, that's just what is outside this home. What's inside is an example of what people who haven't even been able to get to their homes yet are going to be dealing with.
Everything was flooded. My furniture already had mold growing on it.
This is what's left of Michael and Melissa Cummings' home in Dickinson. After Harvey dropped more than 40 inches of rain here, the nearby Dickinson Bayou rose and pushed nearly 4 feet of water inside their house. They were out of town when the storm struck. They came back to a mess.
The first thoughts that went through my mind was the smell. It smells so bad here. You know, first it smelled like a dock, and then I just can't even describe it. It was just it's an overwhelming smell. We wanted to get all the windows open.
They've been able to rip out most of the sheetrock, empty the home of furniture that already had started to grow mold, and save a few truckloads of clothing and other items. But Harvey even left its mark outside the Cummings home.
There's this giant picnic table that's hung up on our fence. Other people's fences were in here, and I think we counted 12 the big blue trash cans that you push out to your curb.
This has not only been the Cummings home for the past 5 years, it's also where Melissa grew up. Despite the damage, they plan to make many more memories when the house is restored.
We'll be taken care of. All my family was safe. I did have to have some family rescued, but everybody was safe, and so I just have to look at the bright side.
Yeah, back here live, the Cummings are still here right now trying to clean up. They've been here for about 14 hours now. They did have flood insurance, and they've also had a number of friends and family and church members come by and help them out. They also have a neighbor who lives directly across the street who was stuck on a bridge for 13 hours the first night of the rain. So they feel themselves very lucky, and they say they have a lot of hope, and they know that they're going to get back on their feet. Reporting live from Dickinson, Keith Garvin, Kprc, Channel 2 News.
All right, Keith, thank you so much. Belying all the misery out there, a beautiful August day.
Boy, I'll say. And then Frank made mention of a cool front that's coming.
Yes, I do have good news, and I'm going to talk about the rivers and their good news, but this is not a river. Scott sent me these tonight. This is the HEB on Kingwood Drive. They took it 7 feet of water. I know, isn't that amazing?
It is incredible.
And this story less than a year old.
That's right.
And if you look inside, that's the way it looks. I know. So let's get to some good news. The rivers generally all coming down. Here's a look at the Colorado River, and you can see at Columbus, it's not in flood. Down toward Wharton, it is still major, but it's coming down. It'll be down by Saturday. The Brazos San Felipe is just minor coming down. We've got moderate East Bernard. It continues to come down. Richmond's going up a little bit, but it's going to continue to go down by probably Sunday, Monday of next week. West Columbia going up a bit, but it's only minor. Bay City's looking good. Matagorda, no flood there. Up to the north, Conroe and Porter are not in flood. San Jacinto at Humble is still major, but coming down. Sheldon's coming down. It's major. And the Trinity at Goodrich, moderate, but coming down. Romeyer is minor and coming down, and then Liberty and Moss Bluff are looking good, coming down at Liberty and steady, but will be coming down by the weekend for Moss Bluff. So your 10-day looks like this. 92, that's particularly good for cleaning up. A lot of sunshine Friday and Saturday. Just a 20% chance Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a front, and that brings in some 70s and 50s for temperatures. I had the name Jose in here. I don't anymore. I'll tell you why. Straight ahead in weather.
Might be a beautiful September. Thank you, Frank. Well, the rain may be gone. Water levels, though, do remain high, which means that some people and pets are still in need of rescuing.
Vic Michelucci from one of our sister stations is in West Houston, right near Briar Forest and Wilcrest, where volunteers made an extra special rescue. Vic?
They did. They told me that they saved a bunny rabbit earlier in the day for a little girl. They were really happy about that. Then they thought they were going home. They decided to go in the water one last time, and they found a woman and her pet in need. We caught the last ride of the evening, or so we thought. Bill and Meredith showing us the flooding on their John boat, SUVs that look like they'll never drive again, street signs barely peeking out, and homes filled with several feet of flood water.
When I came back in today, it's probably gone up, at least another 4 to 5 feet since then.
Things were quiet back here until we met Cammie Miller. All right, be careful, be careful. We're going to give you a little bump. A lone kayaker on a mission to save her cat.
There's some debris in the water that we're trying to get around and get up all the way to my apartment, hopefully to get them out safe and sound.
A soft spot for animals, these volunteers couldn't say no to helping out.
Is this your apartment? No, I'm the one across from.
But getting back there wasn't easy. It took some climbing.
You guys go out and around.
And swimming. But she got to her second floor apartment, and 5 minutes later came out the window with Mr. Kibbs.
All right, you got him? He's heavy. Yeah, I got him.
Cammie was next. That was quite the feat.
It was a little scary, I'm not gonna lie.
So as the sun set, this little boat came back with 2 more than it left with.
I can't even describe how thankful I was when I saw a boat coming in and then you guys offered to help. I am forever, forever grateful.
Mission accomplished. And things a little quieter in the past couple of hours. Cammie and Mr. Kibbs, they are at home at a friend's house. They say that they are happy to be there. She says she's very happy to be reunited with her pet, who she has had for 5 years. As far as those volunteers, they tell me they're going to get a little bit of rest at home tonight, and they will be back out here in the area rescuing whoever needs it, or at least taking them back to their homes as soon as the sun comes up. We're live tonight in West Houston. I'm Vic Michelucci, Kprc, Channel 2 News.
That hero in the boat with Vic, Meredith Cullen, a Houstonian who just decided to reach out. Great story, Vic. Thank you.
Love our pets. Thanks.
Well, residents in Kingwood left to clean up just a huge mess.
A mess that's going to take days to handle. Troy Campbell from our sister station in Orlando is in Kingwood tonight for us. Troy, we saw pictures just a second ago that HEB, many businesses hit, right?
Yeah, some businesses are able to open up, which is good for people around here who need to get some much needed supplies. Some they can't open because of the damage. This Randall's is included in that list. That's why, take a look inside. Chairs, merchandise, water still inside. Lots of stuff all scattered around. Now, this is just one example of a lot of the damage we're seeing in Kingwood tonight as this community attempts to rebuild.
Gutted the first house behind us and then moved on to the next one and the next one, so been busy. It's exhausting.
Neighbors along Lake Houston beginning the cleanup process, tearing out drywall, carpet, and furniture, all completely destroyed. Residents saying groups of volunteers have been showing up to help just hours after the water receded from their streets and homes. Kevin and Tiffany Waddell were spared in the floodwater, but their neighbors next door not so lucky. Home after home, the street lined with personal possessions that are now completely ruined.
Got more. I mean, in each house they still have more sheetrock that needs to come down, and waiting for their contractors to come in and stuff, but doing as much as we can to help them to avoid the stink and the
One of the other neighbors ordered a bunch of big industrial fans that are supposed to be coming tomorrow.
The water is also cleared over at Kingwood High School, with students saying there were several feet of water inside. Vehicles in the parking lot airing out after being submerged in the water. Community members along Lake Houston saying helping out your neighbor is the right thing to do, bringing people together.
A lot of people, they said, oh, sorry, it's been 7 years and we haven't talked to you, and now we're getting the chance to get to know you, and so it's too bad a disaster has to happen, but at the same time, it's pretty great that this happened. I guess that's the good news of it, right? Then you're getting to know people that you wouldn't normally get out and talk to.
Now, it's unclear how long it will take for this grocery store to be cleared out before they can reopen. And because there's so many businesses like this one that have to close because of the flood damage, we're seeing a lot of private security guards that these companies are hiring, including the security guard here at this store who says he has his 12 gauge on him and he doesn't want to have to use it tonight, looking out for looters. Back to you.
All right, Troy, thank you so much. Water rescues, unfortunately, will be the new normal for the foreseeable future in and around Houston, and an elite rescue squad from Florida is helping out in Beaumont.
The specially trained firefighters rushed in when waters refused to rush out and rescued more than 100 people. We'll be right back.
It's really good news about all these rivers and tributaries finally beginning to come down, huh?
And, you know, I looked back at some of the data from March in 2015 before the Memorial Day floods. We had 6 inches of rain in March, 6 in April, 5 in May. We had a very saturated ground, and then Memorial Day came, and the rivers took 3 weeks to drain. Right. We've had nothing but heat and dry from Waller County to Austin all summer. They've been wanting rain out there. So I think when this huge deluge out to the west fell, a lot of it got soaked in, and so the rivers have not come quite as high, and they're draining faster. That's my theory on that.
All right, great. Frank, thank you, sir.
And we have a lot of people that we want to thank, and instead of saying it in words, we'd like to show you in video.
Yeah, that's why we've worked so hard to bring you this coverage. We leave you tonight with a look at the people who have worked in front of and behind the cameras for nearly a week now. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Good night.
I think there's a high